Dear students, let us start the discussion on Magazine 1 and related questions. So, what is this magazine series is all about? Now, after your classes, you are directly going into test series. And in between, some skill development platform is necessary. A kind of a presentation refining platform is necessary. Because test series, it tests your synchronization of different factors. That is your time, presentation, content, all these together are tested at a one single go. So the coaching is all about your content. Then how we shall nurture our presentation is the question. So the magazine series is all about nurturing a presentation skill among the students. Here, the deep-seated problems in the presentation, they will be organically analyzed and solved. That's what is the attempt which we are doing over here. And we have released certain trial balloons and we started correcting the answers. And let us see how it goes on. So now let us analyze the answer script of the one of the student over here. The first is the essay merely opening accounts for women do not ensure financial equality. Now, in the essay, we are looking at how one is starting the essay. Is it bringing an attention of the examiner or not? Is examiner becoming curious to read the essay or not? So that's why the standard thing is whenever you are presenting an essay, there shall be a hook. So it means examiner shall feel some interest in the essay itself. And next, we have to move from general to specific. You need to open as broad as possible the essay. Slowly, you need to funnel it towards the specific topic. So, most of the students they try to do it reverse. That is specific to general. So, the best way of writing an essay is moving from general to specific. In this, a student's answer, we talk this way: financial equality of women is an effective tool for their empowerment. Yes, she made a statement. So, obviously, it's a general statement. We are happy about it. But does she use a hook over here? No. It means she directly started a paragraph. So, I can use a statement, or I can use some startling fact, or I can use an example or an event to attract the attention of the examiner first. And after that, the financial equality for women is an effective tool for their empowerment. Yes, it is very good for a paragraph. So a paragraph has to go like this. You need to have a statement, and after the statement there shall be an elaboration and then reiteration of the point, reiteration with certain reports, with certain statistical information, etc. The student is very good in making a paragraph and giving the right information to the examiner from that particular paragraph. But her major weakness is related to developing a hook so that she can attract the examiner. And then when we go to the conclusion, at every paragraph, with regard to a particular dimension which you are touching over there, you shall be able to provide certain conclusion onto it. So a clear conclusion always makes a big difference to the examiner. And at the end of the essay altogether, you need to conclude it in such a way that the examiner shall feel that yes, this person is a thought provoking or a thoughtful person. So he's not just mugging up, he's giving something innovative solution. So you need to send a message that you have innovation, or else you are a person who is interested in finding solutions and you are optimistic. So the next thing is, let's see the other paragraph of this student. So she has started the paradox of numbers. So she tried to explain the tokenism with regard to the women empowerment. So how the accounts are being opened and how many accounts are being put to use, and what are the various studies where the relative loans given to the women are very less in the financial institutions compared to others. Now, the account is just a tool to bring in an access to the financial sector to the woman, and through that she has to develop her self-employment, and also she has to get economic independence and empowered. Here SHGs are a critical example. And in these circumstances, what are the recent steps which are being taken up? How addressing the digital divide and providing for JAM Trinity will ultimately lead to financial equality, financial access, and women empowerment. That is what is our organization of information. And this organization skill is very good in her. So if I have to recommend her, she has to work on attracting the examiner and then giving a very good conclusion at the end of the chapter where she has to appear as a strong-willed woman. Now, let's go to the questions page. Here, the first question is the marine ecosystem in India is facing multiple threats. So, what are the marine ecosystems? Now, when I have to address this question, the first is what are marine ecosystems and what are the threats to the marine ecosystems? So, any GS question, the first thing which we need to see is are any sub questions in it? So most of the students they don't observe the sub questions and they try to answer only to the one part of the question rather than to the other part. And then or we are going to quote any reports or any recent events to support our answer. So what are the multiple threats to the ecosystem? We talk about global warming, ocean acidification, oil spilling and the eutrophication, and we talk about ocean dumping, deep sea mining, all these things we can express over here. In this case, ocean acidification, global warming, we can give the example of coral bleaching. And then eutrophication, decrease in biological oxygen demand, habitat destruction, all these things. And then deep sea mining, you have the many examples which are killing the habitat and changing the ocean floor itself. And finally, oil spills, you can talk about the recent Chennai oil spill. So all these points, how you are going to give your examples to substantiate your point will make a difference. So when you come back to the student's answer, yes, she has initiated the answer in explaining the marine ecosystem by talking about the India's coastline. Now, the next paragraph, she tried to explain what is the importance of this marine ecosystem. So, did the question talk about the importance of marine ecosystem? No. So, she has wasted around 40 words in explaining the marine ecosystem and its importance. So, instead of that, I will use this to explain the threats. While closing the answer, I will emphasize that there is an economic value and diversity because of the marine ecosystem. So that's the reason why there is a need to protect the same. So these threats can be minimized. So with the following measures, one or two, just while closure of the answer, I will present it rather than presenting it in the introduction so that examiner might feel I have deviated from the question. Now let's see the second answer. So the second question, it is related to the parliament disruptions. So when there are repeated disruptions in the parliament to pass the urgent bills, why can't the government resort to money bill as a route for speedy governance? Isn't it a benefit for the citizens? Now when you see this question, the money bill route is appropriate. So that's what is the question is posing. It is provoking you that why can't government resort to money bill? That's what is. So in this case, you need to talk about the Rajya Sabha and its importance. We need to talk the importance of debate in the parliament, how the debate is central to democracy. And then we also need to discuss about what is the governance and how the legal framework for the governance has to be. So there are three sub questions hidden in this. Normally we see it as one question. When I saw the answer, students have explained what is money bill, how is it different from ordinary bill, at the end how Rajya Sabha will be lost its significance. This is how students wrote the answer. Instead of that, the bicameralism and its important. India has a bicameral legislature with specific role to play for each and every house. The Rajya Sabha is not a secondary house but a second house. It is a revisionary house to avoid any hasty legislation. So in this context, the constitution has provided for Rajya Sabha to go through every law. So while decreasing the role of Rajya Sabha is not in the spirit of the constitution. And second is, with regard to the debate, Every debate in the parliament or debate and discussion are the core of the parliamentary democracy. So, to what extent possible it has to be enlarged rather than reduced. And for governance, a clear law, a clear direction is necessary without any hurdles, judicial hurdles for the same. So when ordinary bills are being presented as the money bills, obviously they are expected to come into the judicial hurdles. Then automatically the clarity of direction is expected to be missing to the governance. So from this perspective, and hasty legislation is not a solution for the disruption, and disruption has to be seen as a separate problem and it has to be addressed. And a specific situation where you can explain is like this. Now, today, the opposition has no voice in Lok Sabha, or I can put it this way. Government is assured to have a majority in Lok Sabha, but it is not the case with the Rajya Sabha. So, opposition voice can be effective in Rajya Sabha. So, the opposition's role gets strengthened because of having a role for the Rajya Sabha in the bill making. So, that's why we can talk about this. And then we can talk about the disruptions. The disruptions need to be separately addressed. And disruptions cannot be an alibi for the government to resort to the money bill route, and it is going to delegitimize the existence of the Rajya Sabha itself. So that's what is going to be my conclusion. So that's how we need to present for this particular question. Now let's go to the next question. Now, universal basic income is very distant proposition for India. It shall not be seen as a substitute to the existing welfare. You know that universal basic income has three characters. I will first select the keyword as the universal basic income, and from that I will try to derive the answer. So UBI has three basic characters. Universality, it means there shall be no means test and everyone shall be eligible, and basic income has to be provided to everyone, and finally the unconditionality. So in India what we are talking about is a targeted basic income, and when we talk about a targeted basic income, the problems of the targeting which are existing with the existing welfare programs, they are expected to remain. And second is, when money is to be delivered, the channels of delivery has to be developed. The financial inclusion is not yet completed in India, so it stands around 30-35% even today. So even Jan Dhan accounts are being opened, they are not at all functional. And third thing is, the especially the universal basic income is discussed in the context of the welfare. So now health and education, they need universal access. So in the universal basic income, health and education bound to be left to the market forces. So the market forces, they may not serve all the regions equally. So that is the reason why the health and education, which are essential for the capabilities of the people, which are essential for the reduction of intergeneration transmission of poverty, these need to be ensured by the state itself. They cannot be left to the market forces which work on the pay and user pay basis. And finally, universal basic income is not a guarantee against the inflationary pressures, market failures, etc. So, taking the vulnerabilities in India into consideration, then universal basic income still has a time to come up. If you talk about the cost of the universal basic income, it is going to be more than 80% of our existing budget, and India has a long time to go towards it. That is my conclusion to this answer. So this is how the questions need to be attempted. So with regard to this student, so universal, she wrote exactly how I have explained it. So first she has explained the characters of the universal basic income, and then so what are the problems for the achieving the universal basic income? Administrative costs, fiscal costs, political costs, role of government as public goods provider. So she has given beautiful side headings and presented the answer. So that's why I felt this answer is very good when compared to the other papers. That's why I wanted to make a small video on this. The next is a case study. So you are DM of a district, and the case study is this. You are a DM of a district and you are supposed to build some dwelling units for the Dalits, and you have acquired, already the land was acquired, and all of a sudden some Ganesh idol has come up over there, and upper caste people wants to have a community hall over there. In this context, how you solve the problem is the question. So always for these questions, the first thing is see the alternatives, investigate, educate, and provide for communication. So investigate, in this case Ganesh idol, how it has come up, and bring in the people to investigate the same, and give the fear of law into the minds of the people who did that wrong, and then education, and then alternatives. Now, dwelling units can be a bit distant from the main road. But main road accessibility is very much important for hospitals, schools, etc. So in future, hospital schools are necessary for the people in surrounding areas. So the space which was given for the dwelling units as it is close to the main road, in the future we can spare them for health institutions and educational institutions. So, and to dwell the situation, to remove the situation from crisis, what I will do, the community hall, there will be a separate allocation, and also house dwelling units, if possible, separate allocation will be made. And this will be used for common services for all the communities. In that way, peace prevails in that particular society. And if the Ganesh idol, if it is real and it has archaeological importance, etc., then obviously that has to become the state's property and it will be explained to the people appropriately. So that way religious sentiments are scientifically addressed. This is what some points which you can keep up over here. So this is about answer writing. Thank you very much and all the best. So we are, if you are interested in this program, you can register at laix.in/testprep. Now remember one thing over here. We are taking 100 students. As of now, 82 got enrolled. We have 18 more spots left. And after 3 months, few people will be moving out because the course is for 3 months. And new seats gets vacant. So that at any point of time, only 100 students will be the part of the system. If new evaluators and teachers are willing to join it, slowly we can increase this number of slots. So most of the students are writing to us saying that, so can we take this program later? Yes, for every 3 months, every 6 months, the slots gets opened up. Then you can get yourself into this particular program. Thank you very much. All the best.